Tell him to bring out the lobster.
Yes, sir.
Tell him to bring out the lobster.
All right, look at these, baby.
Tell him to bring out the lobster.
Are you over DJ Khaled yet? Because let's be real, once upon a time, his wild personality and another one catchphrase were hilarious. They felt like pure entertainment. But now, every year those same antics feel less like fun and more like nails on a chalkboard. People are noticing, and they're not happy. Instead of being the life of the party, Khaled's turned into that loud background noise nobody asked to hear. And today, we're breaking down exactly why folks are officially fed up with his nonsense. Let's rewind to 2015. DJ Khaled pulled up to the Breakfast Club, and what happened next was, let's just say it got spicy. Freaky Friday spicy. The host dove straight into questions about his intimate life, and Khaled, without missing a beat, made one thing crystal clear. He doesn't, won't, and has never gone downtown. Not for anyone. Not even for his longtime partner, Nicole Tuck. That's right, she would never know what it's like for him to make her kitty purr. And Khaled didn't stop there. When asked if he used toys or if he'd ever, lick booty, he leaned in dead serious and said, "Nah, never. That's not me. I don't do that." But here's where it gets really eye-roll worthy. When the conversation turned to whether a woman could choose not to reciprocate, he shut it down completely. In his world, that's a deal breaker. No negotiation, no exceptions. Misogyny much? Not only did he sound hypocritical, but he also launched into a mini lecture about how women should constantly uplift their men. Because, in his words, he's the king. So, in Khaled's universe, it's all about him, never about her. And if that alone doesn't make you shake your head, buckle up, because this is just the tip of the iceberg for why people have been done with DJ Khaled for years. It didn't stop at the Freaky Friday revelations. On the same show, Khaled went even further into soapbox territory. He declared, "I believe a woman should always praise the man, the king. If you hold it down for your woman, then she should praise you. Of course, the man praises the queen too." At this point, it wasn't just a conversation about bedroom preferences. It was a full-on philosophy about relationships, hierarchy, and ego. And to a lot of viewers, it wasn't charming or motivational. It was tone-deaf, outdated, and frankly, exhausting. Khaled wasn't just making choices about intimacy. He was laying out an entire worldview where he comes first and everyone else comes second. And let's be honest, what was that even supposed to mean? The whole thing came off less like wisdom and more like, And the internet? Oh, they were not having it. The backlash was swift, merciless, and unrelenting. Even celebrities jumped into the conversation, turning what could have been a private controversy into a viral spectacle. Smash Mouth threw shade in a single stinging tweet. "A king who doesn't is no king at all. Ouch." That one hit. Then The Rock added his 2 cents with his signature mix of humor and authority, tweeting, "As a man, I take great pride in mastering all performances." Translation for Khaled, "You're doing it wrong." And here's the deeper question everyone was asking. How can a man demand royal treatment in the bedroom but refuse to give it in return? What does that say about him? Is it insecurity disguised as bravado? A fragile sense of masculinity hiding behind catchphrases and bling? Or is it plain old stinginess? A man hoarding pleasure like some survivalist stockpiling toilet paper during the pandemic? No matter how you slice it, the message is clear. Khaled has effectively framed intimacy as a transaction. He is the king, and any woman in his orbit is simply fortunate to even be in the palace. His behavior signals entitlement, hypocrisy, and a lack of mutual respect. But here's the real kicker. By bragging about what he won't do, Khaled inadvertently exposed himself more than he ever promoted his strengths. The act of flaunting his limitations turned into a public confession of character flaws, a peek behind the curtain, showing arrogance and selfishness in the most literal sense. And as of today, let's just say his tongue is still on permanent vacation. He continues to talk big, flex loud, but when it comes to actual substance or action, he's conspicuously absent. Wait, what? They're gay? Who? Katie, Ross, and Khaled. All of them. DJ Khaled? Rick Ross? You're saying they did it? Yeah, they're all gay. Got it. Now let's hit pause on that for a second, because the real story kicks off in 2016. That year, DJ Khaled, loud and proud about his Palestinian roots, took the stage at a Super Bowl event.
Why'd you make the sign?
This man who's a big his name is DJ Khaled, he's Palestinian, and he could be the biggest voice for Palestine if he used his platform, but he stays silent. So
Why?
Because he want that money, bro. He want that money. He sold his soul, you know what I'm saying?
On paper, it looked like just another Khaled gig, nothing unusual. But this one? It raised eyebrows for all the wrong reasons. The event was sponsored by Sabra Hummus, which sounds harmless enough, except for one thing. Sabra is partly owned by the Strauss Group, an Israeli company that has been publicly tied to supporting the Israeli military. And for a lot of people, that was a huge problem. Here's why. Khaled constantly profits off his Palestinian identity, presenting himself as the face of pride and resilience. Yet here he was, smiling on stage, pushing a brand linked to the very military accused of oppressing Palestinians. To critics, it didn't just feel like a bad business deal, it felt like a moral betrayal.
What I love about Drake is he cares about me, and he cares about me winning. And you don't find many people like that.
And that stung. For fans, this moment exposed something uncomfortable about celebrity culture. Too often, artists wave their heritage flag when it boosts their brand, but when the check clears, political principles suddenly disappear. Khaled, true to form, stayed silent. He never addressed the backlash. But the silence didn't stop there. Fast forward to 2023, the conflict in Gaza reignited, the world was watching, and celebrities from outside the Palestinian community were speaking up. And Khaled? Still nothing. Not a word, not a post, not a prayer. People noticed. Oh, did they notice? At a massive pro-Palestinian march in Paris, one protester held up a sign with a message as blunt as it gets. DJ Khaled is a bitch. Wow, dang. That silence? It didn't go unnoticed. In fact, it quickly became a rallying cry for critics and fans alike, shaping the way the world and even his own community views DJ Khaled. While countless others, many with zero personal connection to the conflict, were sharing videos, posting images, and using social media to raise awareness, Khaled? Crickets. His massive platform, one that could have amplified voices and shed light, went unused when it mattered most. People began asking the tough questions. Was it because his label, We the Best, falls under Universal Music Group, a company with known ties to supporting Israel? Or was it simply that the topic was too controversial for him to touch? Whatever the reason, the fallout was real, and it hit hard. Some Palestinians disowned him entirely, distancing themselves from both the man and his music. Even the comedians couldn't let it slide. Dave Chappelle, never one to sugarcoat, called him out on stage. For a Palestinian, Khaled's silence was unacceptable. And of course, Chappelle added his signature jab at his expense. Why are you so fat? People are starving. He's the only fat Palestinian on earth right now. Messy? Absolutely. Cutting? Definitely. But unforgettable? You bet. The backlash wasn't limited to fans or comedians. The New Arab reported that Khaled's own cousin publicly admitted he was seriously considering cutting ties. He said Khaled had seen the tidal wave of negative comments, but had dug himself into a hole so deep there was no clear way out. In his cousin's eyes, Khaled had chosen fame, fortune, and comfort over taking a moral stand. And people noticed. Yet, despite the global criticism, Khaled wasn't shy about showing love for one thing: Palestinian food. On The Tonight Show, he gushed over his favorite dish, though he conveniently called it an Arabic dish. The war? That remained untouchable. He stayed conspicuously quiet, and the internet erupted. Fans and critics alike called him a coward, a waste of space, and even inhumane for refusing to use his platform when it could have mattered most. And if that wasn't enough, he gave the world a perfect example of how out of touch he's become. In 2024, Khaled posted an Instagram video that seemed to perfectly sum up the public's frustration with him. The clip showed him hesitating to step out of the back seat of a luxury car. Why? Because he didn't want to get his designer shoes dirty. Then, in full diva mode, two men literally carried his oversized frame into a waiting vehicle. The internet lost it. The roasting was immediate, relentless, and unforgettable.
This wasn't just about a video anymore. It was a symbol of privilege, detachment, and the widening gap between Khaled and the world around him. People weren't just mocking him, they were calling out the disconnect between the lifestyle he flaunts and the responsibilities his platform carries. Social media had a field day. Soft, spoiled, entitled, out of touch. The comments didn't hold back, but the one that really landed, someone pointed out the irony. Khaled built his fortune on black culture, black sounds, and black audiences, and here he was, being carried on the backs of black men. What he thought was a flex of power and luxury instantly backfired, turning into a viral symbol of hypocrisy. Suddenly, questions about cultural exploitation, privilege, and profiting off a culture without giving back were front and center. Instead of the larger-than-life mogul he imagines himself to be, he came across as, well, an overgrown man-child. Even as a multi-millionaire, Khaled couldn't resist flaunting a little extra luck, or at least the hope of it. In 2022, he posted a video holding stacks of Mega Million lottery tickets, telling fans he was playing and wanted us to play too. According to Khaled, these tickets were his shot at becoming a billionaire, because they didn't believe in us, but God did. One online user wasn't having it. "Don't drag God into this," they wrote, calling out Khaled for standing in the way of people who actually needed the money. Ouch. As it turns out, Khaled didn't hit the jackpot, and all that cash went down the drain. Another moment where bragging turned into embarrassment. But the drama didn't stop there. In 2022, reggae artist and Khaled collaborator Sizzla claimed he had been insulted by Khaled. On Instagram Live, Sizzla burned the plaques he had received from working with Khaled. Yes, literally set them on fire. What went wrong? According to Dancehall magazine, Sizzla had gotten the plaques years after they were certified, and his name was printed in small letters, leaving Khaled with most of the credit. To make matters worse, Sizzla said he wasn't presented the plaques at a proper, media-filled event. He felt disrespected. Even though Sizzla is the godfather to Khaled's eldest child, this feud makes it look like their friendship might be over for good. Money, recognition, and ego, sometimes even long-standing personal ties, can't survive that mix. As usual, Khaled has stayed quiet. And let's be honest, his career isn't crumbling because of one viral clip, a messy brand deal, or even his infamous refusal to eat the box. No, the real issue goes much deeper. The problem isn't a single misstep. It's that Khaled stands for absolutely nothing. More and more people are noticing. He doesn't rap, he doesn't sing, and he certainly doesn't produce beats in the way true producers do. His talent has always been about curating tracks, networking, and shouting over songs that other artists actually create and perfect. He's the hype man, the connector, the cheerleader, but not the creator. That might have worked when he first broke through, but today's audiences demand more. They want substance, authenticity, accountability, and Khaled doesn't deliver on any of those fronts. What makes it worse is that his entire empire is built on the backs of black artists and black culture, yet he positions himself as the star while everyone else plays supporting roles. Now, the tough questions are finally being asked. How is a non-black man casually dropping the N-word in songs and appearances? How does he justify building a fortune on the talent and labor of black artists without giving back to those same communities? His infamous catchphrases, "Another one," "We the best," are less artistry and more gimmick, and audiences are starting to see through the illusion. The cracks in his legacy are undeniable. Take his latest album, God Did. Sure, it debuted at #1, but unlike his earlier platinum projects, it only went gold. Why? Because today, being a musician isn't just about dropping hits, it's about having a voice, taking a stand, and bringing depth to culture. Khaled, meanwhile, is stuck repeating the same tired shtick. Without the constant lift from other people's talent, his irrelevance is obvious. The internet still laughs at his antics, sure, but behind the memes is genuine frustration. Fans are tired of watching him cash checks off a culture he refuses to fully respect. His persona as a mogul and a king is collapsing under scrutiny, revealing a man whose fame was never built on substance. Khaled may think he's untouchable, but the truth is clear. His reign is ending, quietly dethroned by his own lack of depth, talent, and accountability.